There are stretches of life when one seems to be collapsing, suffering loss after loss, calamities piling up misfortunes, arising and sudden departures. From the outside, everyone thinks that person is trapped in a downward turn, but if that person keeps a kind heart, lives without resentment, and holds a mind free of anger, it may not be calamity at all, but the first sign that heaven is changing their fortune. Blessings do not arrive with fanfare. Luck does not knock with drums and trumpets. Everything under heaven begins quietly. And if you are attentive, you will see that heaven always leaves a few signs for those with the affinity to notice. You begin to turn inward, to slow down, no longer chasing the crowd, no longer trying to keep up with anyone, no longer seeing being misunderstood as a catastrophe, no longer letting criticism stir your mind. You choose silence, not because you are weak, but because you understand. You choose not to argue, not because you do not know, but because you know what must be protected more, which is the peace in your heart. In the past, you might have flared up over a careless remark. You might have lost sleep because someone was one step ahead of you. You might have felt uneasy because of a cold glance from another. Now your heart is calm. You see such things as a breeze skimming across the surface of water too light to raise a wave. From the outside, people may think you are timid, that you have given up, that you are resigned. In truth, you have passed the stage of being easily provoked and easily hurt. You have gone far enough through winning and losing to understand that the cost of wanting to win is exhaustion. The cost of wanting to be right is tension. The cost of refusing to yield is the loss of inner ease. So you choose to let go. Not letting go of life, but letting go of the ego. Not letting go of responsibility, but letting go of obstinacy. Not letting go of ideals, but letting go of the craving to be recognized. At that very moment, a new door opens within you. A door that leads to awakening. Your mind no longer sways with praise and blame. It is no longer controlled by the emotions of others. You become still like a lake. Even if the sky pours rain, the water only ripples a little before returning to calm. A mature heart does not come from age. It comes from the times you accept losing without being wounded, the times you are misunderstood without needing to justify yourself, the times you could speak but choose silence, because you know that silence then is true compassion. That quietness is the richest soil for blessings to sprout. Blessings do not bloom in an angry mind. Blessings do not come to a narrow mind. Blessings do not linger where arrogance resides. Blessings only seek a heart that is gentle, awake, and forgiving. You do not need anyone to understand you, only heaven's understanding is enough. You do not need anyone's recognition, only a heart that does not feel ashamed is enough. Live like that, and you do not need to force your fortune to change. It will change by itself when your heart is no longer covered in worldly dust. There are times when you have done nothing wrong, and yet work slips from your hands. There has been no great argument, yet someone once close chooses to step out of your life. You do not search for change, but everything around you gradually changes. Habits that once felt familiar suddenly become heavy. Places once dear become distant. Joys that once held you no longer make your heart tremble. You feel yourself drifting away from the old shore. Life seems to push you toward a place for which you are not yet ready. You feel anxious. You fear losing. You do not know what is happening. Look deeply, and you will see that when the earth prepares for a new season, the gardener must turn the soil. When heaven prepares to sow new blessings, it will gently remove from you what is old, spent, and no longer needed. A job that bound you for years but left you drained and joyless coming to a close is not a loss. It is an opening for something more fitting. A relationship that lasted long yet brought only aching and regret ending is not a finish. It is the beginning of healing. A way of living you once thought would last a lifetime, becoming stifling, is a sign to step into a new way of living that is lighter and purer. Like shedding leaves for spring, like a craftsman dismantling the old wall to rebuild the foundation, life gives no announcement when it begins to turn your fortune. There is no blinding light and no message from the sky. Only the old things quietly fall away one by one. If you do not understand, you will cling, you will hurt, you will resist that natural current. You will try to restore what heaven is helping you to release. The more you hold on, the more you suffer. The tighter you grasp, the more you miss. The more you cling, the more you block the new fortune that is trying to reach you. If you are clear and calm enough to see this turning as a natural part of the journey, your confusion will lessen. You will understand that what slips away in silence no longer belongs to you. What is coming needs you to make enough room to receive it. Just as a tree must shed its leaves to gather sap for new shoots, a person who wishes to enter a new season of life sometimes needs to let life peel away the old tight layers. This shedding does not make you poorer. It is an act of compassionate clearing. Heaven never takes everything from anyone. It only takes what you no longer need, even if you are not yet brave enough to let it go. If you are willing to look with new eyes, that is the first sign that a new fortune is being planted in your heart. In the past, you may have thought that only when you had a large house, a fine car, and a secure career could you be called successful. Only when others admired, praised, and cheered you did you have value. Only with much money, many relationships, and broad support could you feel at ease in life. Then one day, the grand things you dreamed of grow distant. You begin to live simply with yourself quietly, without lavish parties, without compliments, without achievements to display, and with no one left to compete with. At that time, sitting alone with a bowl of warm rice, you feel a strange warmth in your heart. A deep sleep without waking at midnight becomes a precious gift. At dawn, when you rise with a body free of illness and a mind untroubled, you silently join your palms and thank heaven and earth. You no longer need to do anything grand to feel valuable. You no longer need anyone's recognition to know you are living rightly. You no longer chase after anything because you begin to cherish what you once took for granted. That is when your heart quietly opens, and wherever there is sincere gratitude, blessings begin to sprout. Gratitude is not just an emotion. Gratitude is the expression of a heart that has matured. The grateful rarely compare. The grateful rarely demand. The grateful are light because they do not carry too many expectations inside. When the mind still craves too much, blessings have a hard time staying. Such a mind is like a bottomless vessel. Whatever you pour in runs straight through. When the heart is grateful, it is like a clean, whole cup already open and waiting. Blessings need only arrive, and they can remain for a long time. Heaven cares for those who know what is enough, not because they live simply, but because they live deeply. Deeply enough to see what is precious in each sip of water, each cool breeze, each beam of morning light. They do not wait to have much before they feel joy. They are joyful because they see that to be here in this life, to breathe, to live, to be awake, is already a great fortune. Good fortune does not come to those who are always looking up and forget to look down. It does not come to those who only see others as better and forget what they already have. Good fortune arrives when you sit down, look back into your own heart and smile. I still have parents to visit, I still have legs to walk, I still have eyes to gaze at the clouds and sky. I still have a heart to love and to be loved. Such a person, even without anything dazzling yet, has already stepped into the most fertile ground where the mind is clear enough to invite blessings home. There were seasons when you felt the whole world had turned its back. Someone you trusted changed face. Someone you loved wounded you. Someone to whom you gave your all finally treated you as a means to an end. You lived kindly, yet were misunderstood. You treated others sincerely, yet received coldness and indifference. You were surrounded by gossip, envy, betrayal, and toxic ties without knowing why. You asked yourself where you had gone wrong, why you kept meeting misfortune despite trying to be good. Then you began to change, not by changing others, but by changing yourself, and everything around you began to shift. You learned not to resent. You learned not to answer with anger. You learned to forgive not because the other deserved it, but because you wanted peace. You learned quiet. You stopped competing. You stopped asking for much. You began to live rightly, not for anyone's praise, but so your mind would no longer be tangled. That was when new people appeared. They did not enter your life with noise. They were a timely check-in, a gentle look, just when you had lost faith. A casual remark that touched the depths of you, a brief meeting that left a cool freshness like a breeze passing through the heart. It was not random. Nothing is random. It was wholesome karma, ripening a signal from heaven and earth to a heart that is slowly healing. The more at ease you are, the more peaceful people find you. The more kindly you live, the more kind people naturally pause by your side. There is no need to invite or hold tight. The right people at the right time stay of their own accord. You realize that when you were still angry, those who came often mirrored that anger back to you. When you were still suffering, those who appeared were there to teach you about suffering. When your heart has softened, those who arrive carry a gentle energy. When you live lightly, those who step into your life no longer weigh it down. Perhaps someone is with you only for a stretch. Perhaps they do not stay long. They come like a wholesome breeze to remind you that you have entered a new phase. In this phase, you no longer attract scandal. You no longer face those who come only to take you, are no longer pulled into relationships that exhaust your heart. You begin to meet people with depth, people who speak little but speak truth. People who are not flashy yet are full from within. People who do not need you to pretend to be anyone because they see who you really are. You understand that life never takes everything from those who keep a wholesome core. The more rightly you live, the more life sends the right people to you. Not early, not late, but exactly when you are ready. You may have lived with constant fear, afraid of losing the one you love, afraid of losing a stable job, afraid of losing a reputation built over years, afraid of losing a good image in the eyes of others, afraid of losing the familiar things you once thought you could not live without. That fear ties you to everything outside and keeps you worrying day after day. When you have something, you fear losing it. When you lose it, you torment yourself. In that way, you never truly find peace. Then one day after life has taken from you what you thought would remain forever, you finally understand that nothing is permanent, no one is guaranteed, and nowhere provides an eternal anchor. You sit quietly and see one thing clearly. Instead of fearing loss, learn to live so that when loss comes, you will not regret. Instead of clutching, learn to cherish each moment as if it could vanish at any time. From deep within you, begin to let go. You do not let go of people or of work. You let go first of the insistence that everything must go your way forever. You still love that person but no longer cling. You still value that job but no longer treat it as the definition of your worth. You still live wholeheartedly, but your heart is no longer afraid of being abandoned, forgotten, or treated unfairly. Strangely, when you stop fearing loss, you start keeping more. Your heart is light, and your energy spacious. Those beside you feel safe because you do not demand. Work flows more smoothly in your hands because you are not straining to possess it. You no longer tire everything out, and life returns to you in gratitude. Not fearing loss is a sign that you have passed through the dark field of ignorance and entered the bright field of mindfulness. You understand that every meeting and parting is the play of conditions. No resentment, no regret, no clinging. You quietly cherish and are ready to release when the conditions are complete. In that very space, heaven can entrust you with greater things. Not because you are clever, not because you beg for them, because heaven sees that you are clear, deep, and wide enough to hold without being bound to receive, without falling into attachment. This is when blessings return, fortune turns, the heart becomes steady, and life is no longer a harsh battle but a journey lived fully in each moment. There was a period when you suffered greatly. Each night, you folded your hands in prayer and asked for simple things. Please let me be at peace. Please make work less difficult. Please ease my loved ones' illnesses. Please let life bring fewer troubles. You were sincere. You chanted the Buddha's name, recited sutras, lit incense each morning. You tried to live well, to do good, to give, to endure. Yet the more you prayed, the emptier your heart felt. The more you wished, the more uneasy you became. The more you pleaded, the more your tears fell. Then one day, after too much weariness, you stopped pleading. Not because you lost faith, not because you were disappointed. You had realized something deeper. This life does not move by our wishes. Life moves by the law of cause and effect. You let go not to give up, but to trust the unfolding. You stopped begging and began to live quietly, mindfully, without forcing. You stopped hoping heaven would pity you and began learning to care for yourself and to love others more. You rise early to sweep the yard and water the plants. You cook meals for your parents. You listen to others with a grateful heart. You live uprightly without scheming. You choose what is good, not to court blessings, but because it is the way of living that leaves your heart unashamed. Strangely, from that moment on, everything begins to change quietly, slowly. There are no longer great upheavals, no longer rough stretches that make you cry in the middle of the night. Life does not suddenly blaze with brilliance, yet it becomes steady, like cool water, gently soaking the driest places in your soul. The friend you thought had forgotten calls to check on you. The work you kept striving at without result begins to show new signs. The things you once yearned for until your heart felt parched now quietly find their way back. No noise, no spectacle, just the hush of rain seeping into the earth after a long drought. And you suddenly understand blessings do not come because you beg for them. Blessings come because you live rightly. Blessings do not arrive when you push. They come only when you become a quiet, cool ground where they can dwell. Not asking is not indifference. Not wishing is not surrender. Not clinging is not abandonment. It is living each moment, fully doing what ought to be done, and then letting things come and go like a favorable breeze. Right then, your heart is wide enough, deep enough, and clear enough for wonders to begin to visit. If you notice, these signs do not doubt. Heaven does not knock with a loud sound. It quietly opens a slit of light for those awake enough to see. If you are beginning to see it, congratulations, your fortune is turning. Blessings are arriving. Just keep living rightly, keep living kindly, keep trusting in cause and effect. Blessings will not forsake you, and heaven will not let a good-hearted person suffer for long. You may wonder why, after so many good deeds, has my life not improved? Why, though I have poured my heart into helping others, was I not helped when I suffered? Why, though I offered, donated, recited sutras, chanted the Buddha's name, and kept a vegetarian diet, is my home still discordant, my heart still heavy, my work still stuck? You are not wrong. What you have done is wholesome and meritorious. But the issue is not how much you do it, is how you guard the mind after the doing is done. It is like planting a precious seed and carefully watering it. If your heart still harbors anger, blame, resentment, and scorekeeping, that seed absorbs poison at the root, and the tree of blessings will not bloom. There is one small thing that can make blessings leak away, familiar yet silently wearing down all you have stored up. No one clearly sees it, but cause and effect do, and they miss nothing. It is the resentful mind blaming life for being unfair, tallying because you were not repaid, keeping score after helping, measuring gain and loss even in good deeds. One who does good while bearing resentment is like someone holding a cup with a hole in the bottom. The more you pour, the more it drains away. However much you do, that much is lost. That is why you can do many good deeds, and yet blessings have not arrived. Blessings are not like money. You cannot count them by the number of acts. They are not like status. You cannot measure them by praise or by others' eyes. Blessings are a gentle, wholesome energy, a soft light born from right action and a right heart. You might do many good deeds, make large offerings, give to the poor help. Someone in hardship recite hundreds of sutras, chant thousands of Buddha names, keep a vegetarian diet, hold the precepts carefully. But if after all that a subtle pride arises, I helped them and they were not grateful, I did so much, why does the Buddha not bless me? I cultivate better than that person. Why is my life still hard? Then that very mind is where the blessings begin to leak. For someone who does good while expecting repayment is bargaining. Someone who helps while calculating is entering the cycle of loans and paybacks. And once you have entered that arithmetic, there will be times you come up short. If you expect to be repaid, you will suffer when repayment does not come. The Buddha taught giving without the stain of expectation brings boundless blessings. Do then release. Help then forget. Give then do not think of it. Merit will flow like a hidden spring that never runs dry. Some say, But I am human. How can I not be sad when I give and no one is grateful? The answer is, do not be sad because others are ungrateful. Be sad only because you yourself expected thanks, and blessings do not arise from expectation. Blessings arise from a kind heart, a heart that lets go, a heart that releases. Just as a tree bears fruit only when rooted in good soil, good deeds ripen only when sown with a mind free of craving. So however much you do it is not yet enough if the heart still longs for recognition. However much you help it is not yet deep if you still feel a twinge when people turn away. However much you practice it is not yet true if you still resent when life is not as you wish. Transforming the mind after the deed is the true beginning of solid merit. Otherwise, the deed exists, but the blessings have not yet arrived. It is like cooking a whole meal but not knowing how to set the table or invite anyone. There is effort, but no one receives the benefit. Some things clearly damage blessings: harsh speech, harmful acts, unwholesome karma. But there are also things that quietly erode blessings bit by bit, unseen by anyone. That is resentment. Resentment does not need to be spoken aloud. No shouting or scolding is required. Merely cradling a silent blame or a quiet dissatisfaction in your heart is enough for merit to dissolve like salt in water. Have you ever done something good and then felt sad because no one remembered? Helped someone and then reproached them for forgetting you too quickly? Poured your heart into charity work and felt a pang when others were praised while you were overlooked? If so, that is resentment, a thin yet persistent karmic force that raises no big waves but leaves a dull ache smoldering in the heart. Resentment toward others: I treated them well, yet they betrayed me. I've endured enough, but they keep hurting me. I practice like this, so why are they more at peace than I am? Resentment toward life: I do good, yet I still suffer. I recite the Buddha's name, yet I still meet misfortune. I'm too gentle, so I end up disadvantaged. Resentment toward myself: if I had known I wouldn't have helped them, I wouldn't have trusted anyone. I was foolish. That's why I was deceived and abandoned. All such resentments are a fire that burns away merit. However many blessings you create, that mind smolders within and consumes them. One who does good but refuses to release resentment is like a person who plants a tree yet secretly sprinkles salt into the soil each day. The tree may live, but will be stunted. Its fruit will not be sweet, and sooner or later its roots will burn, and the tree will die. A person who resents everything cannot find ease even while reciting sutras, cannot find clarity even while chanting the Buddha's name, cannot go deep even while doing good, and will keep feeling something is missing. You can hide resentment from others, speak words of compassion when needed, and continue doing good for the world, but your own heart knows it is resentful, and so does karma. It does not record what you did. It records the mind with which you did it. Blessings cannot stay long in a house filled with resentment, just as sunlight cannot enter a room whose windows are shut. If you want blessings to arise, open your heart. Let the light of forgiveness and gentleness soak into everything you do. You may have done many good deeds, but if you still hold resentment, each deed will fail to become a blessing large enough. Like rain falling on stone, the water just runs off. If your heart is soft, like moist earth, even a small good deed will put forth blossoms and fruit. One day you will no longer ask, "Why do I do good?" And yet the blessings have not come. For when your heart holds no resentment, blessings arrive without your asking. Some people do a single good deed and talk about it for 10 years. Some help one person and expect to be remembered for a lifetime. Some make a small offering yet secretly feel superior to others. That is ego clinging, and ego clinging is what blocks merit from growing. It is not that the Buddha does not care for you, nor that cause and effect overlook you, but that you act with too much self, so merit cannot enter your heart. Have you ever seen a child give a gift offering it with both hands, and then running off not needing thanks because the giving was true and ungrasping? Adults, by contrast, often think while doing good, "I am a person of deep faith. What I'm doing is noble. They should be grateful. Without me, how could this have happened?" At that point, blessings are no longer blessings, but a signboard hoisting up the ego. What is ego clinging? Doing good while secretly wanting others to know, to praise, to honor you. I've been so good, why doesn't life repay me with good? Ego clinging makes the self the center of merit, uses good deeds to feed pride, helps others while wishing to be owed. That very mind hollows out wholesome acts. Blessings are like light that will only remain where there is no shadow of the ego. The Buddha does not accept offerings made by the mouth, alms given in mere form, or virtue practiced with calculation. He recognizes only a gentle heart, a heart that releases, a heart that does not keep score. You may donate millions, but if a trace of conceit arises, within that blessing is only a tainted worldly cause, one that arises and passes away. You may perform countless services, but if you return home with blame and comparison in your mind, the blessings that arise are like an oil lamp easily snuffed by the winds of the world. Those who truly practice find that the more good they do, the less they feel they are anything at all. The more they act kindly, the more they see how much they need to refine themselves. The more they give, the more fortunate they feel to have been able to give. That is non-self. That is when blessings truly ripen. We often ask, does the Buddha know I am practicing? Does he see me recite his name every day? More important is this: when you chant, is the ego in you growing smaller? When you do good, does your heart grow lighter? After all you have done, do you see that everyone is worthy of compassion, not just you? If the answer is yes, then even if you have not yet seen blessings arrive, they have already begun to sprout. But if the more you do, the more you boast, resent, and crave praise, then even if blessings come, they will not stay long. Thus, doing good is only half the path. Letting go of self is the other half. Doing good is easy. Doing it without anyone needing to know is great merit. Some finish a good deed and immediately look around who saw some give to the poor, yet think they are poor because they are lazy. I help them, they should act right. At least I still have a conscience. Doing good while still measuring, dividing, and setting yourself above others does not ripen along the path of awakening. It ripens along the track of karma. You may be repaid, but only with worldly blessings, praise, gratitude, admiration. Your mind will still be unfree, your life still burdened, your inner world still tugged by gain and loss. Karma is not only in the act, it lies in the place where you think you are better than others. A single seed of arrogance is enough for new karma to be born from the very good you do. Have you noticed? Some people finish a good deed, and their hearts shine brighter. Their faces grow softer, their minds widen. Others finish a good deed and become more critical, more prone to complain that others don't practice, more inclined to use what they have done as a measure of others' hearts. The difference is not in what they did, but in the mind they carried afterward. The Buddha does not look only at what you did. He looks at how you meet what you have done. If you still cling to winning and losing, higher and lower blame and boasting, then however great the deed it generates, only limited blessings ripening according to worldly cause and effect. When the blessings are spent, suffering returns. When the credit is used up, weariness sets in. When the praise ends, resentment begins. But if you act without needing anything back, feeling only a deeper ease, a greater understanding of others, a gentler heart, then blessings ripen along the path of awakening. They are not only a result, they are a step closer to liberation. Doing good while clinging to gain and loss is bringing fire into the Buddha's house. Doing good while still dividing and judging is bringing karma into merit. Doing good without altering the heart is to stand forever at the doorway of the path, unable to enter. You don't need to shoulder anything more. Let every good deed you do be one more release of the self, one more cleansing of the fragments of resentment and the grains of comparison still clinging to your heart. Otherwise, those tiny grains will wear away the whole forest of merit you have spent years cultivating. When you set out to do a good deed, your heart may be very beautiful. A little compassion, a little sincerity, a true wish to help. Sadly, not everyone can keep that beautiful heart to the end. In the midst of doing, obstacles may arise. Afterward, you may be misunderstood. Then thoughts stir. I did this and no one knows. I was good, and they didn't understand. I helped, and they turned their backs. The clear heart at the start becomes clouded, and the blessings that arose begin to leak away. In truth, what matters is not how you begin, but what you keep. If someone cooks a fine meal but serves it with anger and irritation, is that meal still delicious? If someone writes a loving letter but when handing it over speaks harshly, does the letter still carry love? Good deeds are the same blessing. Do not come merely because you act. They come if after acting your heart is softer, lighter, and deeper. Some people volunteer at the temple and make offerings, yet return home full of blame. The temple didn't treat me properly. The teacher didn't remember my name. That person was inconsiderate. Some undertake large charity work, then go home and say they helped so many people who showed no gratitude at all. You did act, that is true, but did you keep purity in your heart after acting? That is what decides everything. Whether merit gathers or scatters, whether blessings are great or small, whether your heart opens wider or tightens. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha taught if the giver is not joyful and the receiver is not glad, and neither is at ease, little blessing is born. But if you give with a joyful heart, the recipient feels cared for, and afterward your heart is lighter, then even a handful of rice or a kind word is great merit. Doing good is like sowing seed by hand. Whether the seed sprouts depends on the soil, and that soil is your heart after the sowing is done. If you finish and then release and forget, that is good soil. The seed will grow over time. If you finish and then blame, compare, and crave, that is rocky ground. The seed will choke and wither. So do not ask, will this bring blessings? Ask instead, how is my heart after it's done? That is when blessings are kept or lost. That is the moment when heaven and earth record the light within your heart. Some people never do charity with fanfare, never appear in public to be praised. They quietly do good in silence, a gentle word to someone weary, a meal cooked quietly for the ill, giving up a seat to the elderly, holding back words when angry. Small things, few things, but their lives are very light. Conversely, some do many great deeds, donating vast sums, building temples, helping the poor, organizing charities, yet still feel life-heavy families at odds, minds, uneasy nights, restless sadness, like dark clouds that will not lift. Why not? Because the deeds are big or small, nor because blessings are few or many, but because the heart is or is not bright. One good act with a light heart gives rise to blessings. 100 good acts done with craving and scorekeeping let blessings drain away. It isn't that those who do little have little blessing. It's that they preserve a wholesome heart intact after each deed. Those who do much yet still suffer do so because after each deed their minds stir up irritation, self, and resentment. You may serve a meal to the poor, but if inside you think, will they be grateful, or I should record this so people see my good deed, that meal is only wholesome karma, not complete merit. Another person needs only a sincere inquiry, a warm glance, a listening without judgment, and in that very moment blessings arise, and arise in a lasting way. Blessings do not lie in the scale of the deed. They lie in the refinement of the heart, while doing and after doing. The clearer the heart, the deeper the blessings. The more it releases, the longer blessings endure. The brighter it is, the stronger blessings become. One person gives a small sum with full compassion. Another donates a large amount while seeking fame and reward. The result is karma. Each reaps what they have sown. No one needs to grade it. Some help one poor person and then forget. Others save 100 and recount it for life. Blessings do not arise from quantity. They arise from the quality of the heart. Worldly people often ask, how do I know I have blessings? Practitioners ask, after each good deed, is my heart lighter? If it is lighter, blessings are sprouting. If it is heavier, new karma is being made. Therefore, do not think I did little, so perhaps there are no blessings, but think I did it with all my heart. Expecting nothing in return, you have sown a very durable blessing. And do not think I have done so much, why haven't blessings come? Instead, examine whether you are holding on to something after each deed. The self-expectations, resentment, comparison. These are the invisible things that keep blessings from abiding. There is a kind of blessing that cannot be bought with money produced by appearances displayed or measured. It is the blessing born of a quiet heart that does not crave and keeps nothing for itself. Once born, it remains unfaded by time, unmoved by praise or blame, unshaken by gossip, because it is created from the absolute clarity within a person's heart. When you give and feel no need to remember it. In truth, blessings do not require you to do great things. Blessings only ask that you do small things with a very great heart, a word of encouragement, a gentle look, a hand held. When someone is fragile, a silence when you could have spoken harshly, a single act of forgiveness when you have every reason to be angry. So long as your heart keeps nothing back for itself, no tallying of credit, no wish for thanks, no waiting for return, then even if no one sees it, heaven and earth still see. Even if no one praises you, cause and effect still record it. Conversely, if you do good with a heart not yet whole, finishing then expecting gratitude, helping then retelling, making an offering then pressing others to remember, giving then thinking, they should respect me more. The blessing that arises is only a brief halo that will vanish like morning dew under the sun. For you did not give fully, you gave a part and kept the part that craves. Blessings blossom only when the heart lets go completely. You do not need to force anything grand. Each time you help someone, simply keep nothing back. Keep no story to tell. Keep no resentment if you are misunderstood. Keep no expectation of gratitude. Keep no thought that you are better. Keep no shadow of self in your good deeds. That is true blessing. It is not noisy, needs no applause, seeks no praise, yet it safeguards you all your life. It does not disappear when you suffer, does not leave when you are ill, does not betray you, even if the world turns away, because it is born from the purest seed and sprouts from the soil of a heart untouched by even a wisp of gain and loss. You can do a great deal and still suffer if the heart is still calculating. You can do very little and still be at ease if the heart keeps nothing back. That is the secret of blessings. No book will teach you this, and not everyone sees it amid a striving world. Only when you step back and look within do you see the emptier the heart, the fuller the blessings, the lighter the heart, the longer they last, the clearer the heart, the more light arises. There is a truth many do not recognize. Blessings do not arise from a pious facade, from pretty words on the lips, or from appearing gentle in a crowd. Blessings arise from a heart that quietly cares, from a mind that looks down on no one, compares with no one, and needs no one to see it as good, simply because it sees another's suffering and cannot turn away. Some chant sutras daily, keep lifelong vegetarian vows, and wear prayer beads everywhere, yet still habitually criticize, judge, and measure how others practice, speak, and live. They are displaying virtue, not living the way. For the way is not counted by how many times you bow to the Buddha. It is counted by how many harsh words you swallow, how many people you forgive who have hurt you, how many times you feel another's pain without needing to say so. Blessings do not arise from straining to show others that you practice. Blessings arise when you can sit alone without anger, work amidst the world, without clinging, hear what offends the ear, without reacting from the ego, quietly loving all that is the summit of virtue. You do not need to be hailed as a good practitioner. You only wish to keep a kind heart no matter how others behave. Someone once asked an old teacher, "How can I tell if I am truly living the way or merely building a shell of it?" The teacher smiled. When you can love someone, even as they are doing wrong, you are living the way. When you quietly do good without anyone needing to know, blessings are being born. When you see that everyone is suffering in some way, no matter what they do or say, you are on the right path. For the way is not to build an image, but to lay down the self. One who lives the way needs no proof, no interest in who is right or wrong, no wish to stand above, so others seem small. They keep only a heart of love unstained by the dust of life. And within that love, blessings bloom like flowers that need no sun, quiet yet fragrant, unboastful yet deep. There are people who have done countless good deeds, helped innumerable others, made generous offerings, carried many worthy burdens, Yet after a time, their lives still sink into hardship, entanglement, and unease. They do not understand why, and they begin to doubt cause and effect, doubt the way, even doubt themselves. But if they will sit and look deeply once more, they will see it is not that blessings have not come, but that the heart has not yet lightened, and that very heaviness blocks the flow of blessings, like a boulder damming a stream. Blessings are a cool spring. The mind is the reservoir that holds them. If the reservoir is muddy, weighted with blame, anger, regret, hurt, and envy, then even if the stream of blessings flows in, it cannot be kept. There are wounds you think you have forgotten, yet a single word, a face, an incident brings the same stab of pain. There are people you say you have forgiven, yet your brow furrows when their names are spoken. There are events you think you have passed, yet in solitude your heart replays them. These burdens not yet laid down are pulling your blessings backward. No one sees, no one scolds, but karma records and blessings hesitate to enter. If you want blessings to come, clear the heart. To keep what is good, release what is old. Not because the other deserves forgiveness, but because your heart deserves to be light. Not because the matter is trivial, but because your future must be spacious. Not because the past was unreal, but because if you keep carrying a wound, you cannot walk steadily toward the light. The lighter the heart, the more blessings arise. You need not recite much, nor make grand offerings, only loosen one knot in your heart each day, and you have opened the door for blessings to enter. Each time you do not retaliate, do not complain, do not compare blessings, quietly set fruit in your life, not in heaven, not only in a temple, not in some later life, but today in a heart that knows how to be still in the wind. Anger is a flame that does not burn the skin but smolders in the heart. It does not hurt at once, yet it slowly scorches kindness, clouds, wisdom, and consumes the merit you have built. Some do much good, yet carry a habit of silent anger. Anger at family for old words, anger at friends for betrayal, anger at society for injustices suffered, anger at oneself for not living differently. Each time anger arises, the heart shuts a door to ease, to blessings, to the good energies that could arrive. Blessings are honored guests. They stop only where it is warm, generous, and free of the smoke of rage. You may recite an entire sutra each day, you may give abundantly, but if you still keep a dark corner in which to store your anger, light cannot stay long. The Buddha does not draw near to those who chant well, but to those who wash the heart before each surge of wrath. The ancients taught, a single moment of anger burns up a forest of merit. This is no idle saying. In anger you speak words that wound. In anger you think unwholesome thoughts. In anger you see everything through a warped lens. All of this is how blessings leak away. Some say, I don't show my anger outwardly. I am only angry inside. But that is more dangerous, friend. It quietly erodes your blessings, disturbs your sleep, unsettles your mind, and steals your peace. It dims the light in your heart. Outwardly you may smile. No one can check whether you are angry. Only karma records it fully, and blessings will step back if your heart remains closed by wrath. If you want to keep your blessings, learn to release anger. Not because the other person deserves forgiveness, but because every time you do not get angry is one less time you burn yourself. Not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough not to let your mind be driven by emotion. Not because the matter is small, but because you know there are greater things to guard in this life. Blessings, peace, loved ones, and the light within. The more one keeps a mind free of anger, the longer one keeps blessings. One who can smile in adversity is opening the door for light to enter. Do not let a single minute of anger and delusion ruin the years you have spent cultivating virtue. Do not let one harsh glance make you drop everything you have carefully preserved. Blessings do not fear poverty. They only fear a heart that refuses to grow gentle. There is a wonder in cause and effect that only those who practice deeply can feel. When the mind is free of anger, life brightens on its own. When the heart no longer resents, blessings ripen by themselves. No pleading, no worry, no forcing, good things quietly find their way to you. One who no longer harbors anger lives in a house without smoke. One who no longer harbors resentment walks through life with very light steps. No charms are needed, no rituals to avert misfortune, only a daily settling of the heart. As anger subsides, light begins to blossom from within. You may have visited many temples, prayed for many things, and tried every way to ease your suffering. Yet only when you truly release anger do you see that what you seek is not outside. It is right there in a single moment of restraint, a soft breath when the fire rises, a slight bow when your pride wants to stand tall and fight to be right. In that very instant, blessings bloom like flowers in stone. You do not need to be clever, wealthy, or highly educated. You only need to be someone who can quiet the heart when angry, smile when insulted, and look upon those who err with eyes that still hold love. That alone will change your life, not by magic, but by the plain, undeniable law of cause and effect. The one who can relinquish anger is the one who clears the road for blessings to enter. Blessings do not like to enter dark places. They cannot remain where the heart is loud with envy and hatred, but they love to dwell where gentleness abides, where there is no resentment, no scheming, no obsession with who is right or wrong. You need not go anywhere, just sit quietly and look back into yourself. One day, you will notice you are less angry, your face less furrowed. You resent less, your words cut less, you cling less, and those around you feel less distant. From there, blessings arrive unbidden, and peace knocks without invitation. This is the miracle of one who chooses to repair the heart, not others. Not the world, just turning inward and washing the mind with loving kindness. As soon as the heart cools, life begins to blossom. Many of us mistake a few good deeds for enough to create blessings, donating, once helping someone on an occasion, chanting a couple of times. Then we go on living with the same afflictions, anger, arrogance, discrimination, selfishness. Blessings do not arise from scattered acts of goodness. They arise from the way we live each day, each minute. If you help today but live with anger, resentment, and scorn, blessings fall as soon as they are born. If you give alms but then mock, needle, or torment others, the blessing withers before it can bloom. Blessings do not remain in hands that only know how to give. They remain in a heart that knows how to be soft. What is living virtuously? It is waking each morning with a wholesome intention. It is speaking in ways that do not wound. It is thinking in ways that do not hurt anyone, yourself included. Not lofty feats, not distant ideals. Live so that those beside you feel warmer near you, lighter when speaking with you, easier in their breathing when walking with you. That is virtuous living. That is the true ground where blessings take root. Doing good is sowing seed. Living good is keeping the soil from drying out. You can sow many seeds, but if the soil of your heart is hard and dry, they will not sprout. If you live kindly each day, and your heart is cool and gentle, then even a single small seed can become a forest of flowers. So do not think only of doing good. Learn to live good. No one sees you refining yourself day by day. No one applauds when you restrain a surge of anger. No one praises you for quietly choosing forgiveness. But heaven and earth see, karma sees, blessings see, and good things will come to you as rivers return to the sea. No invitation, no calling, only a heart kind enough for blessings to have the conditions to stay. Have you ever looked up at the sky and felt your heart grow lighter? The sky does not cling, does not rage, does not compete with anyone. When the sun rises, it does not resent. When rain falls, it does not grieve. When the wind returns, it remains vast. That is the secret of blessings. Blessings do not dwell with those who live small, narrowed into a wounded self. They seek hearts that open like the sky, embrace like the earth, move quietly like the wind, and soak like the rain. A small heart finds sorrow in everything. A wide heart finds lightness in everything. The same words, one person broods for a week, another hears and smiles, letting them go. Why? Because the size of the heart determines the measure of blessing. The narrower the heart, the harder it is to receive the good. The wider the heart, the easier it is to meet fortunate conditions. Not because the broad-hearted do anything special, but because they do not create obstacles to blessings entering. Look back at yourself. There are things that should already have come to you, but you tightened your heart with anger, wrapped it in resentment, fenced it with envy, and drew back its light with delusion. Blessings waited outside, long uninvited. It is not that blessings did not come. It is that you were not yet wide enough to welcome them. A heart wide like the sky is not without sorrow. It simply does not hold sorrow so tightly that it blocks the way for what is new. A heart wide like the sky is not ignorant of anger. It knows anger, but does not let it stay long. A heart wide like the sky does not agree with everything. It can tell right from wrong without hating the person. Within such a heart, blessings fall like steady rain. No pleading, no guessing, just live truly kind, and the rain of blessings will return on its own. Those who live without scorekeeping are light wherever they go. Those who live without resentment shine wherever they stand. Those who can love even the ones who once hurt them hold compassion not merely as a virtue, but as a door opening onto countless paths, and that door is where blessings enter. Sometimes you need not add another good deed. You only need to let go in the right place, restrain yourself at the right moment, and blessings will remain. For blessings are born not only from what we do, but also kept by what we refrain from doing, not arguing when heated, not speaking words that wound when the heart is hurt, not striving to defeat another only to defeat yourself, not insisting on being right when that rightness will sow further suffering. Letting go of anger once lets blessings stay for another day. Restraining a harsh word lets a quiet seed of goodness take root in the heart. No applause is needed, no witnesses are needed. It is enough that heaven knows, earth knows, and your own conscience knows. Some people do good works for decades yet because they cannot endure just once they create resentful entanglements. Some make many offerings yet because they refuse to release a single matter, their suffering never ends. Blessings are not hard to invite, but to keep them, you must know where to stop. It is like carrying water. Carrying it is one thing, but if you do not walk lightly and keep your balance, it will spill along the way. Good deeds are the water. The mind is the carrying pole. Letting go and forbearance are how your hands keep from spilling your hard-earned merit. Sometimes letting go is not losing. It is a deep way of winning over yourself. Sometimes forbearance is not weakness. It is the strength of one who thinks ahead about cause and effect. Anger comes quickly, but the results of hot words, contemptuous looks, and ignorant actions follow us for a long time. Sometimes a single unrestrained moment can overturn years of accumulated blessings. A wise person is not one who surpasses others in knowledge, but one who sees when to endure, when to let go, and when to keep silent in order to keep blessings rather than keep being right. Winning a verbal battle is not as worthy as winning over your own temper. Making others listen to you is not as worthy as teaching your own mind to listen within. Letting go at the right time is prudence. Enduring in the right place is wisdom. Being gentle with difficult people is virtue. Being light with difficult matters is blessing. If each day you can stop one step, endure one thing, and soothe one resentment, you are already patching the leaks in the vessel of merit you carry on your shoulder. You do not need to do much more. You only need not to drop what you have worked so hard to build. You may have tried very hard, done many good deeds, recited sutras, and the Buddha's name, made offerings, given alms, and helped others. If life still has not brightened, do not rush to doubt cause and effect. Turn back and look at your own mind. Are you still holding something? A resentment not yet cooled, an anger not yet dissolved, a competitiveness not yet stilled, a wound not yet left in peace. Blessings are never late. They simply cannot remain where there is smoke, thorns, and sharpness. The path of practice is not to become the best person in others' eyes. It is to become more lovable, gentler, and lighter in each of your own thoughts. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to practice like anyone else. Each day lessen a little anger, a little clinging, a little blaming, a little selfishness, and you are already practicing in the right direction. Blessings are real. They do not come from some distant sacred place. They are the result of a heart that softens at the right time, releases at the right place, and can love even what it does not yet understand. If you want blessings live, so that others feel at ease near you, feel lighter beside you, and feel warm when they think of you. That is the clearest sign of one who has blessings. May you not grow weary on the good path. May you be bright enough to see your own faults, gentle enough to set down what is old, compassionate enough to stop measuring wins and losses, and steady enough to keep blessings in your life. Blessings do not arise from appearances. They arise from a quiet, tolerant, and sincere inner heart. I wish you kindness in a clear heart, peace in a lucid mind, and calm in each breath. Then one day you will see blessings arrive without being asked, and peace return without being called. Namo Amitabha Buddha. Namo Great Compassion Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva.